class 7. Let us proceed with the syllabus of your next exam. Today I am going to tell you about the last lesson of your syllabus for the next exam, that is India in the Middle Ages. So far we have studied about the Europe in the Middle Ages. Now we are going to learn about the position of India or condition of India during the medieval age. Now medieval age in India began after the fall of the Gupta Empire. Now Gupta Empire was a very big one. Almost all over India the Gupta Empire was developed, was extended, and by the time when the last mighty Gupta ruler, the strongest Gupta ruler, Skandagupta, died, after his death, his successors or the latter Gupta kings, they were not so strong and capable. They did not have the abilities or the qualities of a ruler, proper strong ruler who could hold such a vast empire. So slowly Gupta Empire, which was a vast empire, started to crumble down, and ultimately it declined with the last ruler, Buddhagupta. Now there were several reasons. During the Gupta period, it is known as the golden age of ancient India. Why? Because there was a lot of development in the field of administration, in the field of education, learning, literature, art, architecture, everything. Every field there was a great development, and that is why Gupta age is known as the golden age of the ancient Indian history. Now, that mighty Gupta Empire, suddenly though it did not decline. There were many reasons why such a great empire fell down, broke down. So there were several reasons for that. First one was the internal revolts. Since the rulers were incapable, the later Gupta rulers were incapable, incompetent, people were dissatisfied by their administration. That is why frequently there were revolts of the people, of the local people. Okay. The feudal lords, they instigated, they wanted more power as the king was weak. So the feudal lords wanted more and more power. So they helped the local people or the farmers to revolt against the administration. The rulers, the later Gupta rulers, they were inefficient. They could not keep their hold in the administration. That was one of the major cause. Rise of regional feudal lords, obviously taking advantage of the weakness of the central power. The regional feudal lords, they started to extend their control over their territories, and they were successful also, because there was no strong Gupta ruler to keep a strong control, keep a firm control over the administration. The Gupta kingdom, the Gupta empire did not have a permanent strong army. The rulers, they depended upon the feudal lords for the supply of army during the wars. So that was a major setback. When there were revolts breaking out, there were lack of soldiers, permanent standing soldiers to be sent to subdue that revolt. So, and when the when the last and the major cause, that was the infrequent invasions of the Huns, the Central Asian barbaric nomadic tribe. We have already learnt about the Huns, and they had invaded India during the rule of the last great Gupta ruler, Skandagupta. And Skandagupta was able to repel, stop, and defeat completely. He defeated the Hun invasion in such a way. He had defeated them that for the next 50 years, the Huns did not turn towards India. But after his death, they found the opportunity once again to invade and control India, and so they started frequent attacks on Indian territories. So that was, since they did not have the Gupta rulers, the later Gupta rulers, they were weak, they were inefficient. Moreover, they did not have a permanent standing army. So these were the causes that had led to the downfall of the mighty Gupta Empire. Now we learn about the Huns. Now the Huns, the Central Asian barbaric nomadic tribes, we have learned that they were very much ferocious, they were very cruel. Wherever they went, they plundered, they killed, and there was a total chaos when they went to some place. Now there were two branches of the Huns. Now one branch had went towards the Europe, and there they had plundered and killed. We have learnt about it. Another one branch that had turned towards eastern side and came towards India. Now I have told you that their first attacks during the rule of Skandagupta, and Skandagupta was the last mighty or strongest Gupta ruler, great Gupta ruler. So he was able to give them a crushing defeat, and for that reason he is known as the savior of India. Skandagupta is also known as the savior of India, and he had defeated the Huns so completely that the next 50 years the Huns did not turn their attention towards India. But after his death, under the leadership of Toraman, the Huns once again started attacking Indian territories, and they were successful in conquering a vast area in the western part of the Gupta Empire. And there Toraman and his son Mihirkul. Mihirkul was known as Athila of India. We have learned that Athila, the Hun leader, he was very ferocious and cruel, and for that reason he was feared. He was feared as the scourge of God. So Mihirkula had been compared with Athila because of his ferocious and cruel nature. He had also plundered and killed many people and many areas, destroyed quite a lot of Buddhist monasteries, completely destroyed the Buddhist monasteries and pillaged and looted and plundered everything he has done. And for that reason, historians have given him the name Athila of India. And he had settled his kingdom. He has set up his capital in Sakhala. Sakhala is the present Sialkot in Pakistan. So Sialkot in Pakistan was the capital of Mihirkula, the Hun king, Hun ruler, the son of Toraman, the leader of the Huns. And after the death of Mihirkul, Mihirkula was defeated by much later Gupta king. That his name was His name was Narasimha Baladitya and Yashodharman of Mandasar. Mandasar was a small kingdom after the disintegration of the Gupta Empire. Mandasar was a separate, independent, small kingdom, and under its ruler Yashodharman, they were able to defeat Mihir Kula, and later on Mihir Kula was again defeated by a later Gupta king known as Narasimha Baladitya. And after Mihir Kula's death, slowly the Huns had lost their power, and there were many regional kingdoms. In the lack of a strong centralized ruling power, small kingdoms all over India had emerged, such as the uh, the uh, the Pallavas and Chalukyas in South India, Kanauj, God, Mokharis, Kanauj. In Kanauj it was Mokharis. Then Mandasar, obviously Yashodharman, I have told you. And then the Hun invasion had quite a lot of effects also. There was a fusion between the Indian and the Hun culture, and a new race, mixed race had emerged, Gurjara Pratihara, in the western part of our country. And taking advantage of this chaotic situation, as there were no centralized ruling power, strong kingdom by Prabhakar Vardhan of Mokharis Pushyabhutis was set up in Thaneshwar. Now, this dynasty, Pushyabhuti dynasty, had seen a great ruler in ancient India, the last great ruler in ancient India, who had tried to create the political unity of India once again. It was Harshavardhan. Harshavardhan was the younger son of Prabhakar Vardhan of Pushyabhuti dynasty in Thaneshwar. His elder brother Rajyavardhan was the ruler. But Rajyavardhan was killed in a battle with the ruler of Gauda, Bengal, Shashanka. Why? Because Shashanka had attacked the kingdom of Kanauj, which was in matrimony. Harshavardhan and Rajyavardhan's sister Rajyasri was married to the ruler of Kanauj, and Shashanka had killed the ruler of Kanauj. Rajyasri was widowed, and in order to save the kingdom of Kanauj, Rajyavardhan had gone to battle with Shashanka. But in the battle, Rajyavardhan was killed, and ultimately Harshavardhan had become the ruler of both the kingdoms, Kannauj as well as Thaneshwar, in the year 606 AD. Now he had been given the title Shiladitya. He transferred his capital to Kannauj because Kannauj was better positioned and ruled for over 40 years. It was a long rule. Harshavardhana's rule was a long rule, and in ancient Indian history, Harshavardhana is said to be the last notable ruler. We have learnt, we know about Ashoka, we know about all the Gupta rulers, we know about Gautami Putra Satakarni, and now we'll learn about Harshavardhan. I have given the points in the PDF regarding this part of the topic. You will copy them down along with some of the questions which I have given. You will be able to write down the answers from these points.